If the original question was the link between architecture and politics, our statement was that we have two basic questions. First question is the way wealth is shared, this repartition of riches. Second question is the way democracy works and the way architecture involvement, commitment can improve the democratic functions, let's say, the way citizens gather. We call, let's say, the exhibition Nouvelles Richesses, New Riches. We present 22 situations, different situations, who are a bit beside the mainstream of places where you would first think that wealth is. We try to show that in those situations where the means are more modest somehow, there is a tremendous capacity of invention, of gathering people, through architecture. So we have situations like the housing for the poorest people or the most fragile. We have peri-urban diffuse city situations that are not on the first range of architecture awards or architecture talks. And anyway, that in France and Europe, almost 40% of people live in this diffuse city. We intend to show that in those situations, architecture helps to create new riches, new wealth, which can be purely economic. For example, the fact that local resources and knowledge and know-hows can improve and can develop new way of working and new, let's say, new activities somehow. We have also non-monetary riches, which is the fact that people gather, the fact that people discuss about their common goods and their common interests, the fact that people find some ways to improve their environment beyond the architect, because there are politicians, citizens, companies, and so on, which are taking part in this process.
On the main room, we used 12 street advertisement panels to show how projects can modify territories, or ordinary territories in France.
Let's take two opposite situations. First, a remote village whose main resource is beech wood, huge forest. And they just had this problem that all this wood is brought to South America to make plywood, and it came back in IKEA furniture. So they said, well, we have to get something from this wood, but this wood is not the easiest wood to build with. So they made an experiment. So they take profit of one small program in the village to make an experiment to prove that you can use this wood, this beech wood, to build buildings. So that created a building, but more than a building, it was the beginning of a new activity. And they made it with technical research, technical tests, and so on. So that was quite a big amount of work. And this totally transformed the perspective of the local industry. Second example, we are in the metropolitan, in the Greater Paris. We are in the big city, and by a township from the 60s. That's quite popular housing around, and there's a piece of land which is empty. And an association, among them architects, they take this land just to make gardens, and they build a building just to, let's say, to incorporate the life of the gardens in the urban life. And their statement is very political, because they think that this activity should gather people on a very concrete way, how to change our relationship to ecology, how to change our relationship to job, how to change our relationship to production, how we change our relationship to marketing and shopping and so on. And at the end, this is much more complex and much more rich, because it brings democratic life, it brings It's more like a cultural center which gathers several hundred people from the township, which are gathered through this activity. So that's a very nice building, that's a very nice garden, but that's also a place with new public space somehow.